Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome to the number one Group of Five college football show in the world. This is the Group of Five guys, and our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. We need you to hit follow on all the social media platforms at Group of Five guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating, leave a review, leave a comment, hit the like button, tell your family and friends all about us, or you can download the Varsity app for free and listen to the show on there. On this episode, we had a little bit of chaos, almost had a bit of chaos on this fine Week 12 that we just witnessed. Playoff picture becoming clearer and clearer by the day. We're going to recap most of the games, talk about the playoff picture, talk about conference implications, and plenty more. Hope you enjoy the show. Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play. And boy, did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
Projected getting drafted between the first and third round. Like, that's incredible. The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the Group of Five.
Yeah, I really appreciate you do for the Group of Five programs. And I think it's great. I think we should get more of this. But you guys are on the forefront of this. And
so I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the Group of Five because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. Jeff Murphy, good morning, my friend. Dolphins are back, by the way.
The Raiders are not. We are a terrible ball team.
Bad club.
Terrible organization.
Yeah.
Our owner can't even get his own damn haircut correct. And, apparently most of Raider Nation wants us to lose every game so we can draft Shedeur Sanders, who I'm not sure is going to translate very well to the NFL, but that's neither here nor there. I want Ashton Jeanty, but I doubt we'll take a running back that high.
No. Well, yeah, you'll reach on a QB. Shedeur might be fine. I tried to watch some of Colorado because I was trying to make sure I had a rational argument when I get on here in a couple weeks and argue for 2 Group of 5 teams over a potential Big 12 champion, which is starting to look not only possible, I would venture to say likely, Jeff. The key ingredient to this recipe of 2 Group of 5 teams is Army's performance this weekend. And they don't have to win. I don't think they even have to win it, but I think they've got to perform. They've got to keep it close, and they've got to look like a damn good team.
Yes, they do.
But they've got to do, because that opens the door for themselves or Tulane, the winner of that conference, to make a run at this thing alongside with Boise. Now, that being said, Jeff, we almost had a completely different, I should say almost. I shouldn't say almost. We almost had a completely different conversation based on the first quarter and a half in San Jose with the way Boise opened that game. But we got plenty to talk about. But first thing, most important thing to talk about on a Monday morning is, of course, Deca Gray Coffee Company. I'll tell you what, I've been drinking more coffee because of it. I had to make another order yesterday. I ordered the Christmas one. So I will let everybody know on the, I can't even remember what the blend is called, but it's a Christmas blend. So like notes of Christmas flavors, probably going to get a little peppermint in there, I would imagine. So, yeah. But so ordered some of that as well as the game day dark roast. But you guys know the deal. Deca Gray has been supporting us this season, so make sure you visit decagray.com. Use our promo code GOFG for 10% off plus free shipping. Roast to order coffee. You put it in your cart, you put in the code, you click purchase. That's when they roast it. That's when they bag it and deliver it straight to your doorstep. decagray.com. Well, Jeff, let's do this here. Let's open the show with this because you made a very controversial tweet over the weekend that you think Tulane is the best team in the group of 5. And I will agree to a degree and say that they are playing the best in the group of 5 at the moment. And I would venture to say there ain't a whole lot of people playing better than Tulane across the country. But I'll let you take the floor here. Because, Boise, look, I mean, they didn't play great, but they won by 3 touchdowns. Pretty good team to play your worst game and win by 3 touchdowns against a damn good San Jose State team. But I'll give you the floor on Tulane, Jeff.
Well, here's the thing. Let me start off by saying this. Like, I'm not saying that Boise State is not a good team. First and foremost.
Sounded like it.
Well, no, didn't sound like it at all. To the emotional, sensitive, diehard fan of their fan base, yes, that's probably what you read. But that's not what I'm saying. This is ultimately what I'm saying. Tulane is the best football team in all 3 phases of the game. Offensively, defensively, and special teams. Collectively across the board. They're the most balanced. They're probably the most deep in the group of 5. And on the other side, Boise has the best player in the entire country. So, like, you can have 2 things be true. You can have that Tulane is the best team, the most, in my opinion, deep, playing the best football right now, and you have a great Boise State team with the best player in the country that gives them an edge every time they step on the field. Like, you can have both things be true, and both programs are great. I've watched them really close, pretty much all year, especially over the last couple weeks. And, I think San Jose State's a good team. They have probably, honestly, 2 of the best receivers in the country in Justin Lockhart and Nick Nash. If it wasn't for a couple dumb trick plays, in my opinion, that were not well executed, I didn't like the timing of them either. That game is not a 3-score game, and it's down to the wire, probably going in with San Jose State having the momentum late. Doesn't mean Boise wouldn't have won, but I think Boise is a far better team than San Jose State. And if you are that, you got to play that way. Madsen didn't look great last week. He looked better this week. I think he answered the questions in the bell. But again, it's, San Jose State's defense isn't one of the top defenses in the country. They do a good job of getting turnovers, but up front they're not. And if you just watch the film and watch the tape and look at Tulane's defense, and we talked about it preseason, dude, their defense is physical at the point of attack. Their linebackers fly sideline to sideline and Tyler Grubbs. They're great in the back end, and they're great at getting turnovers too. And then you flip to the offensive side, and we talk about how great Ashton Genty is. Mekhi Hughes is one of the top rushers in the country too now. And then you look at Mario Williams on the outside. You look at Fleming. You look at the receivers that they have. Their biggest issue at the beginning of the season was their quarterback question mark. And then they go and start a true freshman who, phenomenal player, deserves to be the starter. And credit to Summerall having, the balls to be like, you know what? This is the guy we're going with. He's made a couple freshman mistakes along the way. That's going to happen. Well, a lot of them just happen to be against Kansas State and Oklahoma in those games, in key moments too, right? So and then Kansas State, say what you want, we think they got robbed, so they're very easily a 1-loss team. And again, I'm not saying that Boise State is not a great team. They are, but top to bottom, right now, it's Tulane, and I think they can make the deepest run in the playoff if they get the opportunity.
Yeah, I think Tulane to me doesn't really have any question marks. I don't think it was the quarterback.
By the way, we're spewing a lot of rat poison right now, and I hope
a lot of rat poison. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something, Jeff. I shouldn't even say it. That's the biggest question mark for Tulane. Give it about a week, Jeff.
I know
you're going to see the national media.
That worries me a bit.
They're all over. I don't know if you've noticed Twitter lately. All they're stating is facts, but you notice the John Summerall, how great of a coach he is. We got to keep that. We got to keep that sealed. We got to keep that in.
I agree. That's why
we've done this for a long time.
I really haven't said him. I'm just trying to say Tulane.
I mean, this guy's been a head coach for 3 years. He's into 3 conference championships, likely to win all 3 of them. I mean, geez, man. But they don't, they don't really have, Tulane doesn't really have a question mark at a position group. For Boise, I think the receiver room, I think they're pretty good. I think they're underrated a little bit. Honestly, I think they got, Camper and Capel. They're pretty good players. Now, they're not Mario Williams. They're not true, receiver one, like go up and get it kind of guys, but they're very capable, very capable. And Madsen started finding this tight end a little bit more lately the last couple games. So they got that. I'm concerned they now are down to 3 injured O-linemen after Saturday. Yeah. So that's a concern. And then the biggest concern for them is defensively. I mean, I think you're right. I think San Jose State missed a lot of opportunity to just go over the top because they had it. And then, they got a chance to go up at least 17-0, and they try to run a trick play to an offensive lineman. Jeff, you run that play on senior day when the season's over, the game's over.
Yeah, I don't
there's
like
nothing
that
left. Yeah, that was, I think, a mistake. And then they tried to run that reverse that they just, that might have been there, but that was really poor execution. I mean, the pitch was way, way off. But so I think that game, I don't want to say 17-0 or 21-0 like puts them away by any means, but boy, does it make them go away from what they do. Which I think Boise does that at times anyways, which is it to me, it seems like the last 2 weeks they've really forced the issue on showing that Madsen can do it. Now, I'll say the other point could be because the O-line's all banged up, but I even thought, look, I'm saying this about Boise State. They won by 3 touchdowns, and Genty had 3 touchdowns himself.
Great team.
Whatever, he had almost 200 yards. But to me, he didn't look himself either. Yeah. Now, and maybe a little slow, a little bit less on breaking tackles at initial contact. But again, could that be? I mean, you give him the ball 34 times every game.
It's got to wear on you a little bit.
He's got to be wearing, especially as the O-line. In the first couple of weeks, he was getting those big 75. He was getting those wide open lanes where he was untouched for a little bit. He's not really getting those anymore. Now, a part of that is, 8 in the box. Your defenses are selling out for it. But he's got to be getting banged up. So, that's kind of where I'm at. Now, I'll say this. Resume-wise, Boise's resume is way better than Tulane's.
Yeah, they
way
got
better.
100%.
You have a win at UNLV, who's now ranked, by the way. The AP is actually making both of their resumes look a little better.
I like it.
And Memphis starting to get votes against it. And remember, Tulane still got to play Memphis too, which I know we've been kind of off on Memphis, but they're what, 9-2, 8-2.
Yeah,
I mean,
they showed up. I know it's UAB, but they showed up.
Yes, they did. So you have that. And then you have Army just sitting there undefeated thinking, hey, what about us? Well, Army is going to answer every question that there is about Army here on Saturday.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that game. And I hope it lives up to it.
Not that, I haven't been watching. I've watched a little more because I like they're doing the little field goal thing for money and all that stuff. But game day, Ohio State, again?
You knew that. You knew that's where they were going to go.
They have been. I looked at. Let me look it up. So I'm factual. I don't want to say anything that's untrue here.
You knew that was the route they were going. They weren't going to go to Yankee Stadium. Army versus Notre Dame.
They should have. I mean,
by the way, I don't like the fact that this is going to be played on a baseball field.
No, I don't either. Did you see what the Wrigley Field? Who played at Wrigley Field this week?
Oh, I don't know.
Northwestern play. Do you see when they play it at Wrigley? I don't know what it looks like at Yankee Stadium. At Wrigley, the end zone is like a half a yard in front of the.
Yeah, it's weird.
The wall, like you can't. I don't know. They have been all right. Here you go. Here's your game day locations. Here's your top 5 that have hosted the most times. Number 1, Ohio State. They've been there 23 times. This will be the 24th time. Also, as far as team appearances, on the road. Ohio State leads 61 times game day has been to a Ohio State game. Make it 62. So that's my thing. They've already been to an Ohio State game this year, right?
Yeah.
And they go to
Yeah.
Penn State, Ohio State.
They went to
Right?
Indiana.
And they went to Indiana already this year. So they've already seen both teams. I mean, I get it. It's like number 2 versus number 5, but I don't know, man. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Do what you want. Do what you want.
I do want to shout out the chat real quick. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, got a great live chat going back and forth. Morgan's in there. Matt, what's up, Matt? Shay Gordon is in there. Jim Cowart, Joe Judkins, Aaron Boggs, Marshall fan. Cuthbert Hutton is in there. Army fan. Got a great live chat going back and forth. You throw some questions in there, throw some points. Hey, guys, we don't got it all figured out. You guys know more about your teams than we do. So hop in there, and appreciate you guys waking up on this Monday morning because we got a lot to get to.
Well, Jeff, I got 3 teams that I don't think we know anything about at this point anymore. That is the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana. That is the Eagles of Georgia Southern. And that is the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Now, Ragin' Cajuns, look, if Wooldridge is out, I'm a little nervous now.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about the
I'm real
Cajuns.
nervous.
I mean, they almost came back and won that thing.
They did.
And had a chance at the end. So you got to give them credit there. But
About South Alabama. I mean,
500. They are.
I've never seen anything
stereotypical
like it.
500 team. One game, they look like, oh my God, look at it. They are loaded. They look good. They're this, that. And the next game, you're like, they're terrible. I don't know, man.
They look freaking good the other night.
They sure did. They looked like they looked when they beat App on national television a couple of weeks back. But, all 3 take away Louisiana, but Georgia Southern and Western Kentucky for me, it's like, we talked about this on the phone yesterday, Jeff. It's like when they win, it doesn't look great. And then when they lose, it looks horrible.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. I don't know if you've seen the Georgia Southern player put out a big statement.
I saw
Now he's not on the team. Isaac Walker. Man,
what's going on?
Can I say something?
Floor's yours.
Yeah. We have this. I think this is due to social media. I don't think it is due to social media. But we now have players that they always feel like they got to make a like they got to have a statement. They got to be the main character all the time. And I don't like it. Like, I don't agree or disagree with what he said. To be honest, I really didn't even read the whole damn thing. I'm not going to sit through that, read through some, like, I don't know, prepared statement. But what are we doing? We do it for the transfer portal. We do it every time a player makes a bad penalty now. They put out a big tweet. We do it every time something controversial happens on the field or at practice or in the locker room. They got to put out a big Instagram story with a prepared post. Like, guys, keep that stuff in the locker room. I don't know, man. I just
agree.
And some of the guys that do it, it's like, I mean, Walker's a good player, but like some of the guys that do it, you're like, what? Who's that? It's just everybody wants to be the main character. That's what it is, Jeff. And so everybody's got to put out this big thing.
It's like the Truman Show.
It drives me off the wall, man. It's like, why are we making a post about this? A post on Instagram, a prepared post, a post on Twitter. It's like we're spending so much time on these things.
Doing that. Like when I just like go and have like a ham sandwich and just make a prepared post about it.
Yeah.
Some things just need to be left in the locker room, man. Deal with it internally. But it's just this day and age. He's
in the portal now. I don't know, week 13. We're entering the portal.
They didn't look good though.
Huh?
They didn't look good against Troy. And
no,
give
they didn't
Troy
look
their
good.
credit. And you've been saying it all year. Like each game they've looked, a little bit better. They've been injuries or young, but they seems like they're starting to figure it out. And that Caldwell kid, hell of a performance. I know we'll get to that game later, but yeah, Western Kentucky, that might be the worst offensive game they've had in probably a decade.
Well, and that was the thing too. Every game in Conference USA was wild,
So
wild,
crazy.
and like just went completely opposite of how you thought it was going to go.
Liberty almost lost to UMass.
Liberty almost lost. FIU and Jacksonville State were in a shootout. Sam Houston had to go to overtime with
Kennesaw.
I mean, that's another thing I got to bring up. So you see Kennesaw State's old coach, Coach Bohannon,
He was at the walk.
Okay. I don't like it.
What's going on here, Sprouse?
I don't like that. Everybody is on Twitter. How awesome is this? You know, guys, that's not good. Okay. That's not good for I don't know. I think
for the program, it's a bad look.
Yes, it is. Do you imagine if Coach Stock showed up at middle games? Because that's what it is. It was a firing that was not a good one, right? Yeah, the coach saying one thing, the school saying
kind of
another.
Showing up the admin.
It's exactly right. That's exactly what that was. So I don't know where we get off and saying, look how awesome this is. Like it's like, hey, watch it on TV and cheer for it, root for them. But man, dapping them up pregame, and you saw all the players, you could tell love them. So to me, that's like it's kind of putting a, I don't know, man. Just saying, hey, look at me. I'm the main character of this. Again, it's a trend we're seeing. Anyway, other headlines. We had some movement in the Power Four that could help us. You had BYU go down to Kansas on a late night.
Called it.
So now, yeah, you did. Now here's what you have right now. You have BYU and Colorado are each 6-1 in the conference. Arizona State and Iowa State are both 5-2, both unranked. Keep that in mind. So Colorado still has to play unranked Kansas, who's a lot better than they.
Well, they got that athletic quarterback, and that gives them a chance. And anybody they play, he's an X factor.
And then BYU still plays Arizona State and Houston, who's actually not been horrible this year. So you could very easily see a 2-loss, potentially 3-loss champion. So
I think Arizona State has a shot to win that entire conference.
Yeah, I do too. And we saw Arizona State, on national television when they played Texas State, and they're very good. That running back's they're very physical. They're good, but again, if the committee's looking at eye tests and stuff, it's okay. Is Arizona State better than Army or Tulane?
That's going to be the question. If you get a 2-loss Arizona State team or Iowa State team, because I think BYU's is going. I think they're going to lose again. I think Colorado's going to lose again. I think you're going to get a 2-loss Big 12 champion. How high are they going to? Are they willing to push them up? Is the question.
And here's the other thing, because Colorado has. Who else did they lose to? They lost to Kansas State, and they lost to.
I'll tell you. Hold on.
Somebody not in the
Nebraska.
Okay, so they have a non-conference. So they have 1 loss in the conference. So they theoretically could lose to, let's say, Kansas, somehow still win the Big 12 with 3 losses.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're, you got a chance.
They got to play. Yeah, Oklahoma State's bad. They got to play them at the end of the year.
Kansas is pretty good. Now, that being said, from a ratings standpoint, oh boy, would they love to get Colorado in there. Could you imagine?
Of course they would.
But anyway, let's get into some of these games. By the way, we need to talk about this. Another couple coaches let go over the weekend. Temple being the latest. Ball State now open. Yeah. I still think East Carolina is the best job open in the group of 5 at the moment.
Yeah, I think Utah State's sitting there too. We keep kind of
but are they officially open?
Know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be because it was an interim position, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they may just keep them. I mean, they look. I mean, I know it was Hawaii, but
looked good the other day. Yeah.
And that's without their best player.
Yeah. So. Well, anyway, let's kind of get into some of these conferences. So here's the American. Army and Tulane is set. Location TBD. I think what you're dealing with here is if Army beats Notre Dame, that game will be at West Point. If Army loses to Notre Dame, that game will probably be at Tulane, pending they both win the other games. because the tiebreaker, they'll both be undefeated in conference. Tiebreaker will come down to playoff committee ranking. And I think right now they're pretty tight, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 18. No, they're 18 and 20 in the AP. 18 being Army.
What were they
and
in?
20
What were they in
Tulane.
the playoff ranking? I mean, that's the one that we gotta.
Yeah, I mean that's the one, but it was. I don't think it was that far off from the AP.
I think it was similar to that. So
I'll find it.
Yeah, but anyway, so if Army drops a couple spots, then that game will be in New Orleans.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so that's what you got. And look, I mean, Tulane, Summerall said it in the locker room. They shut out an option team at home. I mean, ain't nobody. I mean, they're humming. They're hot at the right time. That is for sure. Elsewhere in the American, South Florida, Jeff, you have this in your. Did you win your bet? No, you didn't.
Not my big one. I won another one though.
There you go.
Finally got back on the schneid.
There you go. But South Florida putting up 59 on Charlotte. Charlotte, another great crowd. Yeah. They got to do something. Got to keep those people, man.
Yeah, and South Florida rushed for 425 total yards. Kelly Joyner had 142 touchdowns. Poggi comes out and says Deshaun Purdy will be the starter for the rest of the year. I think that's the right decision. He's given them the best chance to win at the quarterback spot. Yeah. And I'm rooting for the 49ers. I want them to be good. I want to go back to Charlotte. I love going to Charlotte.
That's a good time. Battle of the Owls went to overtime. Temple gets the win. 18-15 over FAU.
Get the win and then fire your head coach.
They fire the coach after an overtime win, huh? Boy. And then UTSA, well, they're playing well right now too.
Yes, they are.
They're gonna have something to say. You know, Tim Pernetti said that about Army.
He sure
They're
did.
gonna have something to say about Army in that final week. But 48-27 over North Texas. North Texas now all of a sudden is starting to come apart at the seams.
Falling off. UTSA 681 total yards of offense. Where has this offense been all year? Glad they finally found it. Robert Henry with 20 carries, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. Happy for them. They're a good team. I like it when they're playing well. They seem to kind of just have something over North Texas when they play each other every year.
Yeah. And then Memphis looked really good against UAB. UAB, you know, I realize it, but but Memphis looked good. And again, they're 9-2 or 8-2. I mean, it's like we've been saying all year, they don't look great, but they are winning.
They underperformed, but not on Saturday. And like you said, we know it was UAB. Seth Hennigan's last game or scheduled game in the Liberty Bowl, he showed out 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Mario Anderson continues to just churn out 100-yard rushing performances. Look, we said that Thanksgiving Day game between Memphis and Tulane is going to be a big one. We highlighted that before the season started. It's looking like it's going to be a great game. I mean, this American, it's going to come down to the wire. I think Tulane will beat them, but it's not going to be an easy test. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to talk because it's going on in the chat right now. Yeah, Horvath got hurt in the Navy Tulane game. Now I'll say this: I think they had what 2 or 3 possessions before he went down, and they weren't doing anything either. You know, so it wasn't one of those deals where it was back and forth, and then he got hurt, and then Tulane pulled away. I mean, Tulane defensively was shutting them down.
My best
right away
bet of the day, Sprouse, was first possession Navy punt.
Really?
It's great. It's great. Bet.
Nice bet. Wow, you're starting to get into the.
I got to start getting into the weeds because
you got a problem, Jeff.
I got a big problem.
Yeah, I got one too. You're starting to bet on some. What's next, Jeff? The Gatorade color at the Super Bowl?
Coin flip.
Yeah, coin flip, national anthem time. Holy cow! You are. It went from a couple games here and there.
I don't even know, Sprouse. You got to get it. You got to get.
Next thing you know, you're going to be fighting the Eagles mascot at the game on the sideline.
It cost me $10,000, Polly.
Yeah. Hey, Conference USA. What in the hell? Listen to these scores, Jeff. Liberty 35, UMass 34 overtime. La Tech 12, Western Kentucky 7, FIU 31, Jacksonville State 34, Sam Houston 23, Kennesaw State 17, overtime.
Well, you know what this
Talk about
tells me?
parity. It tells you it's a damn good conference,
It's the
Jeff,
best
and it is a
conference.
gauntlet
I
to get
mean,
through this conference.
It is. It is.
Well, you know what? If Brandon Walker can get on Barstool and talk about how mediocre he thinks South Carolina is, meanwhile, South Carolina is, from a standing perspective, better than at least 10 SEC schools. And they beat Texas A&M, who's in first place in the SEC. So if South Carolina is this mediocre team, I'm just trying to figure out where the SEC gauntlet's at. Yeah, you got to play Georgia, tough. Yeah, you got to play Alabama, tough. Texas, tough. Tennessee, pretty good club. But that's 4. Jeff, what have we been saying for 5 years? Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 really good teams, and then everybody else is kind of okay.
That's
I mean, it's unbelievable. So they got to pick one. And I'm already seeing, have you seen it already, Jeff? Have you seen it? 5-5 Florida. Now they win one game, and all of a sudden, now they're back. They're good now. I mean, and I'm going to say something too, because this is relevant to the Louisiana fans. And I think Western Kentucky had a pretty crap showing for a first place team at home. Florida is 5-5. They were 4-5. Probably 75% of their fan base doesn't like the coach, doesn't like the athletic director, doesn't like the way that the program is going. But you know what? You know what they do every week, Jeff?
What's that?
Well, they show up to the game and they sell out and they do their things and they sing their songs and they have a damn good time and they give those players a great environment to play at. And that's what we don't do in the group of 5 for the most part. James Madison, you guys do it, but you haven't been bad yet. So we'll see if you're ever bad. App State does it, but I'll give App State credit because they're pretty bad this year. They're still getting after it every week. Charlotte.
Was it somebody posted on Twitter a picture of the stadium, and you could see like people right outside of the stadium at Western Kentucky, because their like main tailgate is right outside the end zone. Yeah. They're like, "Come on, guys, get in the stadium here," and then you score 7 points.
Well, and see, that's what fans will say. Well, when we come, look at what they do. Look at what happens. We knew that you fans are typical, right? This is what we've been saying, and it's actually quite comical that it's both Heltons, both teams that are dealing with it. Is they win these games, they win a big game, and then they lose one. See, I knew we couldn't win the big game. There it is. I knew. It's like, okay, well, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, so you've won a few big games already this year. Otherwise, this one wouldn't have been a big game. But yeah, that was a real poor showing for Western Kentucky. But on to the Mountain West here, Jeff. I tell you what, Devin Dampier is probably the most fun player to watch in a lot of college football. He's unbelievable. He's electric. I mean, that is a big time win versus Washington State.
Huge. I mean, for him to have 4 touchdowns total, he ran it all over the place, threw it well enough, and just made plays when he had to, beating a ranked Washington State team that some are saying maybe they can be somehow the at-large bid, but knocks them down.
Yep.
I tell you what, Mountain West is a pretty damn good conference.
It's really good.
Pretty good.
Well, again, it's like all of it's like all of them. Boise State's very good. UNLV's very good. San Jose State's pretty good. And everybody else is like, they're okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes they look really good. Sometimes they don't. I mean, I'll tell you what, Colorado State is going to have something to say about all of this because they're red hot too.
Yes, they are.
And they're doing it defensively, which is what's impressive.
Defensively and running the ball.
Yeah.
They have changed their game plan up. I mean, they ran for 250 yards on Saturday. Justin Marshall and Avery Morrow, hell of a 1-2 punch for the Rams. And then they still have the ability to spread you out and throw it when they need to. So this is, like you said, they're a hot Colorado State team. All they got to do is win out, and they make the Mountain West Championship. Although I would like to see a rematch of Boise UNLV. That game would The first one was fantastic. Would love to see a second one, but hey, might not be in the cards.
Might not be. Colorado State's got Fresno State this week, which you would think would be the game, but Fresno's been slumping.
Yeah.
But UNLV now ranked in the AP. So see, here's
This
what's
is the
funny,
most
man.
teams we've had ranked all season, right?
It's funny. Everybody went away from divisions to try to get the two best teams in the championship game, and it ain't working for any of the conferences.
Nope.
If you truly think about it, right? I mean, the SEC is panicking right now because they're sitting there because they randomized the schedule. So then they have this one team that doesn't play any of the other good teams all season and is going to sit in the championship game, where if you had divisions, it would be like one of the, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all panicking. You got to look at the Big 12 right now. I mean, they got 4 teams still alive. The ACC, you're gonna leave out Clemson because you didn't let Miami or SMU play them in the regular season. So now Miami
Clemson's
and SMU are going to
lose, though. They're going to lose.
Yeah, they're going to lose to
Carolina.
South Carolina. Yeah, they are. So Miami and SMU are going to get into the championship because they don't play Clemson. In the SEC, you might have Texas, who they only play Georgia, but they don't play any of the other ones.
That was by design.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I
you
agree
want to
it
know
was.
something else? You got the third best team from the American Conference a year ago, probably going to be in the ACC championship game in SMU. And they're probably going to win it.
They won the American last year, didn't they? SMU? Yeah.
Did they?
Sure they did. Yeah, sure they did.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they thought they should have been in over Liberty.
That's
but
right.
still.
That's what I was thinking of. I couldn't remember what they were thinking.
But yes, they had a loss. They're going to at least be in the championship
And you
game.
know what
They
the only difference is, Sprouse?
They got a new patch. Yeah, they got a new patch on their jerseys. So, and a bunch of donor money that they can't use because, whatever. I don't understand.
Well, no, they can use their donor
they
money.
Use
They
that,
have
but they
zero
can't use,
TV money.
Yeah, for a long ass time too.
8 years.
Yeah. Then what? I mean, Big Ten seems like they're going to benefit. Yeah, they'll benefit because they'll get Oregon, Ohio State, or Oregon, Indiana rematch. Although Oregon almost lost to freaking Wisconsin over the weekend.
Telling you.
But all these schools, right? I mean, I don't think anybody at this point would sit here and say that Colorado State's better than UNLV. But because Colorado State avoided Boise and UNLV, they are going to find themselves in the championship game. Anyway, you talked about it earlier. Utah State put up 55 points without Jalen Royals. I mean, geez. All of a sudden, they looked like a good club.
Rasul Faison, 20 carries, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, they just put it on Hawaii. Hawaii was favored in this game too, which I wasn't a fan of because of the long travel, but that didn't matter. I mean, Shager threw 3 picks. I mean, it was a rough day for Timmy Chang in Hawaii, but credit Utah State. I think that's a job that if you can get somebody in there to build that program, I think it's a special place to play. You know, I don't know, recruiting, you know, they got to be similar to BYU in my opinion. They recruit similar. Yeah,
you need to go
grounds, you know what I mean?
You need to go get, Samoans and kids from California, a couple kids from Texas. But yeah, I mean, they get great support.
Mm-hmm. Cool place.
Beautiful facilities.
Yeah.
I mean, they won the conference, 2-3 years ago. Hey, how about Air Force 2 wins in a row, Jeff? 28-0. What's happening here?
Falcons are back.
The Falcons are soaring, Jeff. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how they did it.
Let me get this straight, guys. Let me just get this straight. Oregon State and Washington.
Yeah, Pac-12.
State.
Mm-hmm.
Want to continue the Pac-12, I guess specifically because of branding, but yet got beat by the Mountain West this weekend.
Isn't that something?
Guys, just come over. Come to the Mountain West. We'll absorb you. We'll cover you. We'll talk about you. We'll give you fair, honest coverage.
Yeah.
Just make the jump. Just do it.
Yeah. Come on over. But yeah, did you know, by the way, that Devin Dampier was originally committed to Air Force? Boy, would they be good.
My goodness.
That would be special. Yep. And then we talked about Boise and San Jose. Look, I think every team, right? Every good team goes through a week or two where they just don't look the part. I mean, everybody else has gotten a pass for it. Oregon's getting a pass for barely beating Wisconsin. Alabama's getting a pass for losing to Vanderbilt, barely beating South Carolina, barely beating mediocre South Carolina, by the way. They all get a pass. Boise has had their 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So it's time to get back to it. I feel like they need I know we've been talking about not getting the bye week. They need some time off, I think. They need to get
I think
healthy.
Genty needs it. I think he looks a little dinged up.
Yeah, I think he does.
And you're going to. Dude's carrying it 30 plus times a game. Like
he's just getting smacked
he's just
at
getting
the line, dude.
I mean, that's got to take a beating on your body. I don't care how in shape you are. And this is the time of the season where you start to feel everything.
Yep.
And that's coming from a guy who didn't run the ball, like didn't take the hits. Like I just remember you get to the dog days of the season, you're like, man, this is really starting to wear on you physically, mentally, all the things. And they need a bye. They need some rest. Because, yes, I tweeted what I tweeted. I still want Boise to win out. Like, I still want them to represent. I want Genty to win the Heisman. Like, Boise fans, like, calm down a little bit. But I do want to shout out Nick Nash and Justin Lockhart.
Oh.
They played absolutely phenomenal. And Walker Egan missed a couple big throws that should have been touchdowns, in my opinion, guys that were running wide open. But they went up and made some incredible catches. And they're two receivers that not very many people are talking about. And Nick Nash has been there forever, converted quarterback. Kudos to those guys, man. Great players. Can't wait to see him at the next level. Jim Nagy, get Nick Nash at the Senior Bowl, please.
Down there.
Get him down there.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, those guys played fantastic. I mean, Boise, when they didn't get pressure, their defensive backfield struggled a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be something to look out for if they get to the playoff and they get to against one of these teams that's got 2 or 3 big time receivers like that. I mean, that's going to be the recipe.
Yeah. Shout out our guy, Marion McCoy, though, led the team in tackles.
Is that good?
I don't know. It's good for him. He had led the team in tackles. I'm not sure you want your corner doing that. But.
Yeah, Jeff. I don't know that that's a good stat.
Well, for him it is.
Hey, Sunbelt now is just getting all kinds of weird because here's the thing. We thought going into the week, Georgia Southern had the easiest path. Now, you kind of thought Louisiana, Georgia Southern was pretty set. But now Louisiana QB goes down, and they still have – who they still have left, Jeff?
Louisiana.
Monroe.
Yeah, they got Monroe and – who's the other one that's on the tip?
Who do they play this week?
What are we doing here? Oh, there it is. The Fighting Trojans of Troy.
Boy, can Troy just mess up the whole
They
thing.
can play spoiler real bad.
The thing is right here is Louisiana has head-to-head over both Texas State and Arkansas State. So
they dropped the last 2. It doesn't matter.
Correct. But if they only lose one, if they lose to, I think they would have to lose the last 2.
They have to lose the last 2.
What's
Correct.
Monroe's conference record though?
3-3.
Oh yeah, so they would have to lose the last 2.
Mm-hmm. And then it would go to
and
Texas State.
Did Texas State beat Arkansas State?
Yes.
So it would go to Texas State.
But I don't know who would host though. Here's
what you have. So Marshall gets the big win over Coastal. I've been saying this for half the season that Marshall's the best team in the Sun Belt. I have been saying that. I want to credit myself for this. And preseason, I told you they were going to be damn good. The problem is test number 1, check, beat Coastal. But now test number 2, test number 3, you got to go to Harrisonburg here in a couple weeks. You got to go to Old Dominion. You're on the road, right? Both
games
of them
to finish the season are on the road.
So you win them both. Marshall, you're in. And if something happens with Louisiana, I imagine Marshall would host at that point.
If they got one loss, yeah.
Yeah, they would host, actually. Yeah. Now, if they lose a game, if they lose to James Madison will be in because they'll have 2 losses. They'll have head-to-head. I don't – wait. Hold on. It also depends on what Georgia Southern does because if James Madison beats Marshall, now they'll all 3 have 2 losses, right? But Georgia Southern beat them both head-to-head.
Correct.
So it goes back to Georgia Southern. So Georgia Southern can very well find themselves right back in this. And I would almost venture to say it's likely. However, Georgia Southern, who we said had the easiest path of the bunch, just lost to Troy. And who do they? And they have a rivalry game coming up here in a couple weeks that could go either way.
Yes, they do.
Now Old Dominion has a 3rd loss, so they're probably out of it. So,
look, Sprouse, by no chance, I think it just it was fortuitous. It just happened. The family and I watched a little great movie last night called We Are Marshall.
Good flick.
I'm on the herd. I'm on your train. I'm jumping on your bandwagon.
Don't do it, Jeff.
Braylon Braxton's a damn good quarterback.
He's a dog. He could play. If he'd have been playing all season, yeah,
we might be talking. I mean, who knows? They're 7-3 now. They could easily be a one-loss, Sunbelt team.
Lost to Ohio State,
and
that's it. And they potentially could have beat Virginia Tech, and eat with or without that deal, that Georgia Southern game. To me, quite a pretty fluky, right?
Yeah.
You bring in the backup quarterback. They get a intentional grounding in the end zone for a safety. Then they fumble twice. I mean, that's
wild chain of events.
Yeah, wild stuff. So this Sunbelt East and now the West, a little crack in the door for the West.
What do we say every year about the Sunbelt? Same thing we say about the MAC. They just beat up on each other.
And you know what else you have to say? You know what else you have to say? Because the Sunbelt has fan bases that want their coaches gone all the time. And so, okay, if you're Georgia Southern and you're Texas State, because they have probably been, and if you're Marshall, actually probably Marshall more so than anybody, they've been the 3, okay? And Louisiana prior to this year has been the 4th one. They all want their coach gone all the time. If you in July or in August when camp started, if you were a fan and you said, hey, what's this season's goal? If you said anything more than win the Sun Belt, you're probably a bit ridiculous. I mean, maybe some people thought, maybe James Madison thought they had a shot at this playoff. But I think most rational fans would say, yeah, if we win the Sun Belt, that's a pretty damn successful season. And here's the deal. Most years, if we do win the Sun Belt, we got a shot. We're at least going to be in the conversation late, pending what happens in the other conferences to make the playoff. So guess who's still very much alive to win the Sun Belt? Marshall. You wanted Huff gone? Let me tell you something. You go 9-3, 10-3 with a conference win. It's a damn good season. James Madison, still alive. You lose your coach, you lose your player of the year quarterback. You win the conference in year 1 with a new coach. It's a damn good season. Georgia Southern, yeah, it's been a little bit up and down. But you look at your roster compared to what else you got going on in the East. You mess around and win the Sun Belt, that's a damn good season. Louisiana, you had one bad year, one bad year, one okay year, and now a great year with a new coach and a new staff. I mean, you can't wish for better than that. So what are we doing, guys? I'm looking at the clock here. It's November 18th in the year of our Lord 2024. 6:51 a.m. Eastern time, 5:51 a.m. Central time for some of you Sunbelt fans. And you're playing meaningful football. That's all you want.
That's all you could ask for.
All you could ask for. You could be Georgia State. Could be Southern Miss. Could be Coastal, who's now out of it.
Thanksgiving is right around the corner, Sprouse. What are you thankful for, my friend? That's what it boils down to this time of the year.
I'm thankful for a shot at a conference championship, and I'm thankful for a shot at a CFP for not these guys, but some other guys.
That's it. Yeah. Marshall, great performance against Coastal.
Yep. Anyway, but Troy, yeah, look, you said it earlier. First of all, happy for Jared Parker. So happy for him because because you've done the hardest thing there is to do. You replaced I don't want to say a legend because he was only there for 2 years, but guy comes in, takes what's supposed to be a rebuild and wins back-to-back Sun Belt champions, puts guys in the NFL, and then goes to Tulane. And you got to replace that. That's the most difficult thing to do, especially when your support bails on you early and quickly. But shout out to the Troy faithful that have stayed faithful. And they knew it, right? We knew it. You could see it. Everybody wants to look at a box score. That's what happens when you don't go to games or you don't watch games. You look at a box score or you look at the stats. You go, oh, we lost. Oh, QB sucks, this and that. Well, no, go watch the game. Because we've been saying it for probably 6 weeks now. We've been saying, okay, they're getting closer. They're getting closer. They're going to get somebody. They're going to get somebody they shouldn't get, and they might go get both teams that they shouldn't get. But anyway, shout out to the Trojans. And then James Madison, Old Dominion. Boy, that game lived up to the hype, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Who was on that call? Was it Beth Mowens on that call? I had a hard time.
I couldn't.
had a hard time with
Troy
the volume
game too.
Yeah,
the Troy game was hard to listen to. I mean,
yeah, 35-32 though, freaking shootout, great game.
Wish there was a couple guys that would just go and call.
I don't know where you'd find them.
I don't know.
I'm not trying to call a game, Jeff. I'm too emotional.
That's why I think it'd be good television.
It would be really good. Like every other play. Oh my God.
Did you see?
What are we doing? But that game lived up to the hype. James Madison gets the win, pretty much knocks Old Dominion out of this thing. I think it actually mathematically does knock Old Dominion out. I guess it doesn't. because you could get, Marshall would have to lose both. But you could
Texas
get all four of them with 3
they
losses.
They would need a lot of help. They would need a lot of
help.
help.
They would need a lot. They need everybody to have 3 losses because they're the only team that beat Georgia Southern out of that group.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that's what they would need. But yeah, man, and it's nothing. Look, it's nothing against the ESPN Plus ones are tough to watch. Typically, I got it on the phone or the computer, so it's already tough. But then, the play-by-play is just leaves a lot to be they're
trying, man. We don't want to make. I know it's
yeah. Well, they're a lot. I mean, they're not. They hadn't been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah,
nothing against them. Give those guys 10 years, and they'll be doing a really good job with it. But I'll say this also: I didn't watch it, but a lot of people were complaining about Herb Street and Fowler lately.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They're acting like they're getting lazy. They might look. They do. I don't. As much as I talk crap about Game Day and about ESPN, Herb Street and Fowler,
they're everywhere.
Are phenomenal. That's exactly right. Herb Street's doing like 3 games a week. NFL, college. He's trying to watch his kids play. He's got the dog. I mean, he's got all the things, distractions and stuff. But man, the games that they call, they prepare better than anybody. And if I could have a conspiracy theory, I think that's why they keep going back to the same places, because you keep calling the same teams. You don't have to prepare as much. You've seen them a bunch already.
Sure.
So you go have, I know the game contract is already, I think that Army Notre Dame game is probably going to be NBC, right? With the Notre Dame contract, I imagine.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think it's probably going to be NBC. So you'll get, which they do a decent job. I think who's NBC? I think you get Todd Blackledge. He's not bad. I can't remember, but anyway, that's gonna be tough, dude. You're preparing for an NFL game, and then 2 days later, you have to do a 3-hour show, and supposedly know all these teams, and then go call a game. But they don't know all the teams. Jeff, did you see Desmond Howard?
No.
Now I'm getting all over the place. Do you see that? You didn't see that clip?
No, I did not.
Jeff. They were about to make their pick for the Arizona State. Who'd they play? Kansas State?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Arizona State, Kansas State game. Big 12. Both of them 7-2 going into the game. Championship on the line, really. And Reese Davis goes to Desmond Howard, and Desmond Howard's like, why are we picking this game? Something like that.
Really?
I thought this. He said, I thought this was a mistake that we had this game in here. Why are we picking this? And they're like, 7-2, buddy. Big 12 championship.
Wow.
So if you're going to tell me that hey, Big 12, what have we been saying?
They don't want you either.
I'm telling you, buddy, y'all are right there with us, man. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know why I got on this. Oh, I think it was Beth Mowens. Whoever was on the James Madison call, it was Army Notre Dame is ESPN. Who are you going to get there?
Not sure.
I don't know if they have announced it yet. That'll be interesting. But yeah, I have a hard time with her, and it's not because it's a her. Don't everybody get up in arms here. It just I don't know. I don't find that crew entertaining. Okay. Arkansas State beat Georgia State. I mean, Georgia State, I saw a lot of stuff about people about their administration making games not fun and unwelcoming to the very few fans that they have. You know, they used to tailgate they've got like bricks. You know, that's the old Brave Stadium. They've got like a brick terrace, I guess you could call it. Which, since they don't have many people there, that's where everybody would tailgate. And for what it's worth, it's a decent tailgate. Very small, but it's decent. And supposedly, I don't know if this is true. Well, now Morgan's saying it's NBC. You know, you guys, can somebody do a Google research for me? You know what? I'll do it.
Do it.
But supposedly they made it to now where the boosters park on those bricks. So they have removed. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah, it sure does.
We're going to cater to like 3 or 4 people so they can park closer.
Just people who shouldn't be in positions of leadership making decisions. And I hate that.
Yep.
I hate that for them.
Yep. And then anyway, we talked about South and Louisiana.
Well, just broke his collarbone.
Is he going to be? He's going to be out.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's going to be interesting to watch. And
They just got to win one more. Yeah, that's all they got to do. They just got to win
more.
one. So don't put too much pressure on your next guy.
And Texas State bludgeons Southern Miss. Offense looks to be back.
It's on NBC. Damn it. 7 p.m. prime time though. I like that. Usually Armies, usually the academies get that noon slot on CBS Sports all the time. Anyway,
Come on,
but
Army.
hey, and then Texas State, Jeff, 58-3. I know it's Southern Miss.
Bludgeoning.
Southern Miss is not a terrible job. A lot of history and tradition there, and you have good fans if you can get it going. It's not a terrible spot. Hey, by the way, no show Wednesday. I have to be traveling for work, so I'll be overnight Tuesday and then like a 6 a.m. meeting on Wednesday. So why they did that, I don't know.
I just have to do a solo show.
What's that?
What? I'm just
Do it. Do a solo show, Jeff.
Hell no. I will never do it.
I think you could do it.
No, it'd be the most.
I wonder how those guys like Coward and hey, Josh Pate, they get on there by themselves. Coward's like a 3-hour show by himself.
What I'll do is I'll get on here and then just do a revolving door of people. I'll just bring them in.
Yeah, just get a bunch of guests on. Get a bunch of guests on and make it a thing. So I will just real quick, Jeff, in the MAC. So you have right now Miami, Ohio, and Bowling Green with the 1 loss. And then Toledo still sitting there with the 2 losses. But Akron is at Kent State. Can Kent State get a win at home against Akron?
I think they get it done. They've been playing a little bit better.
Yeah, they've been getting there, but I don't know. Western Michigan at Central Michigan. No idea. Western Michigan hadn't won since they started playing good teams. NIU at Miami is a big one.
That is
a big one. Boy, Miami, what a turnaround. There's another team for you, right? Start out slow, everybody's up in arms. It's like,
yeah,
we're gonna win the MAC again.
The chat's clamoring for a Wednesday show. They're pissed at you.
Well,
Joe says, "Come on, Jeff, we'll pull you through." Steeple wants a call-in show. Steeple, what's going on, man?
I tell you though, I am starting to get a little tickle in the throat. I might just have to call in sick on Wednesday.
We'll keep you guys posted.
From my hotel. I'll be in Birmingham. I was really hoping. I was like, man, I wonder if I could find a way to. It's too bad it's not like Conference USA midweek. I was going to see if like it would have been tight if Jacksonville State was playing or something Tuesday night. Because then all these idiots, they're going to want to. I try to explain to these people I work with, like, you guys are my work friends. I don't really enjoy the time. I mean, you know what I mean? You're with me. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's with me here. Like, look, I got work buddies, like, right? I call them during the work day. We have questions for each other. We get, but then it's like, buddy, it's Friday night. Like, I really don't want to hang out with you. I'm sorry to say. Anyway, so I was going to try to do that, catch a game or catch something, but I'll see what I can shake up. Maybe I go over to the local watering hole and watch a little action. But anyway, then you got Buffalo at Eastern Michigan. Buffalo is a pretty good club. I think they'll get that done. And then another big one, Ohio at Toledo. So some big ones in the MAC this week.
Huge game.
But I know in the interest of time, I don't know. Maybe we'll try to figure something out for Wednesday, Jeff. I'll keep you posted, guys. But we got a bunch of voicemails. I know. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I don't know what to tell you. You guys call that hotline 615-900-4286. Give us your hottest takes, your raw emotion. How many we got, Jeff?
We got a bunch. I think we got close to 10. We're going to hit half of these today. That's the problem. We don't do a Wednesday show. Maybe I'll hop on here and do a voicemail.
Come on and hit the voicemails.
Yeah,
come on at like 7. You come on like, a little later.
Maybe we'll see if Alex is willing to get up. We'll talk action.
There you go.
Maybe have a special guest Wednesday.
Look at that.
Keep y'all posted on that. But let's get to the voicemails. Appreciate you guys calling in. Had a ton of calls. My phone was blowing up Saturday after all the wins and losses. So let's get right into it.
Group of 5 guys. Brett checking in from Fort Collins. Just literally walked in the door from Canvas Stadium. And, man, good win. A lot left on the bone. We should have won by a lot more than we did. I'll take the 2 touchdowns, take the boot, staying in Fort Collins. You can tell Ben he can cry on my shoulder, put the tears in the bottom of that beer. What a win. Glad we won. Dominant win. I thought we really put it to them all night long, set the tone early, and it was awesome to see, finally, after a pretty long drought since 2020, only winning once, and that's the second time in 9 years, I believe. So, man, what a win. We are tied with Boise State for the conference lead, and listen to the show on Friday and just give us some love, boys. We deserve it. We're doing things that people didn't think we were going to do this year. We weren't in the conversation. I'm not saying that UNLV is not a better team than us, but man, you're beating the teams you're supposed to beat, and hopefully we can keep it rolling to Fresno next week. It's going to be a tough game. Don't traditionally play well at Fresno, so hopefully find a way to win and mark that calendar for the Boise State game, hopefully. Thank you.
Appreciate you calling in, Brad. Yeah, the Rams do deserve a lot of credit. I'll say this. At the beginning of the season, when looking at their schedule, I said they had a favorable schedule down the stretch, and credit to them, they've taken care of business. They've kind of reinvented their offense a little bit, changed schemes, and really made running the ball and playing tough defense, the way that they've played this year. And that's been the key, because they tried to throw it a bunch early on. It wasn't really working. Torrey Horton hurts his leg and he's out for the year, and they've just adjusted, and credit to that coaching staff. They've getting it done. And like you said, they're winning the games that they're supposed to win. Going to be a tough one, Fresno State, but they haven't been playing great. Who knows? I'm rooting for them. Let's go, Rams. Shout out to you guys. Let's keep it going, and we'll check in with James Madison.
Group of 5 guys. Chuck here. Happy Sunday morning. Big time, gritty, on the road dub for the JMU Dukes. Won't always pretty, especially there towards the end. But hey, a win's a win. Tell you one thing, I hope ODU keeps that quarterback around, because, man, a lot of talent, great runner, sneaky speed, really, really good. But anyway, JMU's doing what they're doing. Got to win those games. Got to win those road games. So again, big time win, in-state rival. So just complete game. Although there were aspects that looked a little shaky, but overall it was a complete game. But he came out on top. And then now we move to the final two games. Man, this weekend a little chaos in the Sun Belt East. Who knows? These final two games are across the East are going to be crazy how it all shakes out. Y'all called it. And Sprouse, I appreciate your continuing voodoo hex on Georgia Southern, so keep rooting for them. And we'll see how it plays out. But Duke's got to focus. Got a major road game down in Boone, so got to stay laser focused on that. Control what you can control. But anyway, great win for the Dukes, and buckle up 'cause it's going to be interesting. Y'all take care. Have a good one.
Appreciate it, Chuck. Yeah, thanks, Sprouse.
Georgia Southern, I'm about to do you a huge favor. Y'all are a bad ball club. Now, I tell you, I'd like to see the Vegas odds on what's the most likely scenario between Marshall, James Madison, Georgia Southern. I mean, it comes down to Georgia Southern losing again for James Madison.
Yeah.
And then all they got to do is beat, App and then beat Marshall.
Yeah. A lot can happen. I mean, there's a couple different scenarios.
Yeah, there's so many because you also have what if Marshall loses to Old Dominion? And then, then you'll have the losses. See, Georgia Southern has more scenarios where they can get in because they have the head-to-head over both of them. Yep. But they're also, you're welcome, Georgia Southern. They're also probably the worst of the three. I mean, honestly, I mean, James Madison. What happened? What'd they do? They just laid a big egg when they played Georgia Southern, didn't they?
Honestly, I can't remember what happened.
I can't remember. I feel like it was Georgia Southern beat them kind of handily, and then the Marshall game was, I still think, fluky.
Yeah.
See what I did right there? Georgia Southern's going to freaking bludgeon whoever they play next because of what I just said.
I feel bad for them. Steeple, I agree with you. Chuck from JMU's on it. He's sharp.
Is Chuck the friendly one or the rational one? Or is he neither? I can't remember.
He seems pretty rational to me.
No, I know. But remember, somebody calls and says, hey, this is the rational JMU fan. And then somebody calls and say, hey, it's your friendly JMU fan.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think Chuck is different from those two, no?
No, I think he's one of them. I just can't remember which one. Let's check in with our coastal person. Not Steeple.
Group of five guys. I have some really coastal students. Just coming off of pretty disappointing loss, more or less.
Yeah, but got the TV in the background.
We turned the TV on.
Being able to win it for the 75 who lost their lives on that tragic day of November 14th, 1970. Prayers and thoughts are with that community. Now, on to my second point. Our secondary. We need to figure things out there because it's a common thing we've had this season where we would get our opponents into third and long situations, but because of the fact that they're so scared of giving anything over top and behind them, you're giving up so much ground underneath that you're basically giving them the first down anyway. And that's bitten us a lot in this game as well. And with some of the missed calls in this game, I'm not one to call out refs, but my God. You have a block kick from Marshall that gets turned into a touchdown, which really should have been called back for leaping because the guy who blocked the ball has his hand on a teammate who makes an opening for him to get over top. So that really, in my opinion, should have been called back. Because in the fourth quarter, you have a touchdown catch that's ruled incomplete. And they reviewed it and still called it incomplete, which just blew my mind. So you take that into consideration, the final really should be 26-24 Coastal. But alas, that's something that just didn't go our way and something we just need to figure out. We still have Georgia Southern this coming week, and then Georgia State close out the regular season. They in hopes of getting to a bowl game. And right now in Teal Nation, a lot of people are calling for Beck's job, which I you took it on me. Wow. Sorry, I'm watching Jack there. But people are calling for Beck's job, and my thing is that it's like he's in year 2, and keep in mind of all the people we've lost. And I think I kind of had the thought that we probably weren't going to be as good this year, but we'll probably be better next year. But people calling for his job, I think, need to relax and understand like where we are right now. We're good, but we're not great. We still need talent. We still need more of his guys to come in. But that's all I have for now. Thanks for doing everything you do. Watching 4-screen right now is just nothing but G5 football. Go Group of 5 guys. Jump up.
Love it.
I like that. I heard several mentions. Jacksonville State, FIU game, which was a great one. Love that. But, yeah, it's Beck's second year.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we look at these other third year guys, right? Look at Dez at Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're replacing not just the head coach, but you're replacing an entire core culture guys, right?
And staff, like all the support staff. Chadwell took it all.
Yes, and then you lose the quarterback, who's been kind of the rock, right, for that group. And you lose all the guys on defense. So just relax. Honestly, we haven't gotten a chance to meet Coach Beck, but from what I've seen of him, I like the guy. I'm still upset that the Coastal people deleted that picture of him on the beach with the with the cheerleaders dance team or whatever. I mean, what
dance team? Yeah.
Like, why is that I don't understand, people. There's so many other things. You know, I don't know.
Marshall fans.
What is he
Aaron.
saying?
Oh, that's great. Let's keep it moving. We got to knock out some more of these voicemails.
Yeah.
Group of 5 guys. Joe Judkins. Fellas, I tried to tell you on Friday that the Trojans of Troy were going to ground them Eagles, but nobody believed. Well, we got after that ass, boys, and played a solid game for the second game in a row. This team is finally finding their way. A bit late to be sure, but we are much improved. 3 straight games with the same old line, but it was really 5 weeks because there were 2 buys in there. Get a lot of corrections made in 5 weeks with the same 5 guys. Terry Johnson, my Cajun-loving brother in arms, in your own words, we coming. The Sun Belt Eliminator is on its way to Lafayette. Sauce bomb, my friend. Jeff, I saw your Deca Great pimp with that GATA cut Saturday morning. PM me your address, brother, and I'll get you a nice Troy cup so you can have better choices.
I'll take it.
Shout out to the upsetters of the week, UTSA, New Mexico. How about that? And Air Force is back, baby. And to my Sunbelt brother in South Alabama, Marshall and JMU, we got us an old-fashioned smorgasbord in the Sunbelt. Nobody knows just what the fuck's going on to happen still.
Missed that one.
The best G5 conference in country, without a doubt. Keep doing what you're doing, fellas. Love the work. Go Group of 5 guys and go Trojans.
Damn it, Joe. How'd you sneak that by me?
Well, I don't know how you missed it, Jeff.
Well, it gives a transcript. Like an AI gives a transcript. And usually I look for that first. And if it doesn't have, it'll like bleep it out.
You know, I've been wondering, like, this is a complete side. I'm going way off here. Like on the Facebook or Instagram, when you watch a reel that has subtitles, they've been way off. You ever notice that?
Of course. Yeah.
Let's see, AI, man. It'll never be the same. It'll never be the same as a human being. Anyway, great call from Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, he's right. He's right about the smorgasbord in the Sun Belt. I mean, it's one of those things where you think, like last week, we're like, okay, it's pretty set now, right?
Yeah.
Louisiana's going to host, and it's going to be either this or that. And now you're like, oh, Louisiana may not even get in with an injury and stuff. So this is great, guys. This is what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't want it to be the first week of November and you already know who's in the championship game. I mean, come on.
Let's keep the dice
rolling.
Great stuff.
Man.
No, don't know who's going to get in. Express, I say we just go for it. Let's just try and knock these out.
I'm waiting on you.
All right, let's do it.
Group of 5 guys calling on my way back from the borough.
Oh,
not a good night. No offensive production for Georgia Southern. You know, defense did not play terrible. They just got tired out there, man. You know, defense trying to do everything, you just get worn out because your offense just gives you no freaking help. I mean, I don't know what that was, but we just came out flat from the start. And they should have beaten us by 50 if they wanted to. Not a good game, but, you know, the Sun Belt Championship is still somewhat alive. We need Marshall to lose a game. I believe they've got JMU left on their schedule, but I'm not sure. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I feel sure y'all will talk about it anyway. But shoot, the one thing that stood out to me, other than going off of Georgia Southern, was I'm shocked Louisiana lost. Damn, South Al is a good football team. But Liberty going into OT with UMass? What? I don't know, but hey. Through wins, through losses, ties, injuries, whatever, I still love my team, and, you know, I just want to get my hopes up, and then they just take it away. But I hope that doesn't happen again. We still got 2 games left. The Sun Belt Championship's still alive. I got to get fired up. I got to have hope. Hail Southern.
We got a great shot.
Yeah.
You had a great shot.
Especially with how the Sun Belt's been. Who knows
Yeah.
what the hell's going to happen.
Oh, and again, they have the advantage of having the head-to-head wins over both Marshall and James Madison. Fluky or not, they won the game. And they still play each other, and James Madison and Marshall still play each other. You just need Marshall to lose. And Marshall has two of the toughest teams on the road. And for what it's worth,
still got hopes.
And Marshall is a lot better at home. I mean, they've won a couple now, but it took until Southern missed last week for them to win their first road game.
Yep.
So now you got to go on the road against the two, arguably the 2 toughest team on your schedule. Old Dominion, we'll see. We'll see if Old Dominion cashes in. If they, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like they kind of check out because they're out of it for sort of. We'll see about that. But James Madison ain't gonna. So, whew.
Hang in there. That's all you can do.
Will the James Madison faithful get after it on a Thanksgiving weekend like they normally do? Surely, right? Sun Belt Championship on the line.
I would think so.
Yeah,
one of the best followings.
All right.
Let's keep moving.
Hey, fellas. Morgan here, resident Tulane fan. Boy, where do I begin? Just absolutely dominated the Middies, 35-0. Yes, I know Blake Horvath didn't play for most of the game, but honestly, I'm not even sure what I'm most impressed by, the offense or the fact the defense barely allowed 100 total yards. It basically held them to not even into field goal territory, just a complete utter domination. I think even better than against Temple last week. Going back to our 3rd straight conference championship game, most likely at home. I know obviously we still got to play Memphis, and we'll see what happens when Army plays Notre Dame. But man, I couldn't be prouder with this group. They're building every week, and it's awesome to see. I'm almost tearing up right now because this really is the golden era of Tulane football right now, and I don't ever want it to end. Anyway, just want to call and say that, and I'll just say this too, like all credit to Ashton Genty as a player, but no one can argue that Tulane isn't the best Group of 5 team in the country right now, and arguably a good chunk at the P4. You just look at it from top to bottom, the way the defense is playing, the way we're so efficient on offense. The last 3 conference games, we've won a combined score of 121-9. I mean, teams are having a hard time even cracking midfield against us. So this team, I really hope we get a chance to show what we can do in the CFP playoff. I know it's a little bit out of our hands. We need some help, but man, I can't wait for December 6th. Conference championship game, national TV, to really truly show the nation what this team is capable of. So love the show, fellas. And I just have one more thing to say. Roll damn wave. See ya.
Great call. Enjoy it, Morgan. You deserve it.
He does.
Enjoy it while you can.
He absolutely does. One thing real quick, Jeff. Wonder how much of the Navy tape Army is going to watch and see if they can find any holes. And then same thing. You wonder if Tulane thinks, well, we shut down Navy. We can do the same against Army. A little different.
It is.
By the way, you better write John Summerall. You better hand him a blank check. Like, hopefully they've already done this.
I hope they have too. Like Indiana did with Signetti. Already extended him to an 8-year deal.
Man, Signetti's proven everybody wrong, and I kind of like it. Him and Deion Sanders both. You gotta respect it. We talked. I will speak for myself. I talked trash about both of them, and I was wrong. I'm fine with that. I'm rooting for them both because I do know this. I do know that if Boise State or Tulane or Army gets a chance to play Indiana or Colorado in the playoff, you better book your flights to round 2, my friend, because we're winning that game.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. We got 3 left. We're going to try and knock them out.
Oh, yeah, we got plenty of time.
I got to get out of here and get to work. But
Group of 5 guys. I think I watched arguably the worst half of Cajun football ever put on television, and then the best half of Cajun football ever put on television. Ben Woolridge breaks his collarbone, out for the season for a 3rd year in a row. Chandler Fields comes in and almost builds it to a comeback. Had we won this game, we would be in the top 25 and still in the playoff conversation. And I tried not to fall for the rat poison, tried not to fall for the bend in the tailpipe, but damn it, it was just too sweet. And got my head chopped off for it. South Alabama was a tough team. Honestly, they should be a 7-8 win team. Gio Lopez is a dog. They had a very good defense, took away every option we had in the passing game, and just shut down a running game. And was a decent crowd out there in Cajun Field. They said it was 16,000 fans, but the administration just doesn't know how to count tickets right. I think there's about like 20,000 out there, but I don't know, man. It's going to be tough winning these last 2 games. Troy's on a win streak right now, feeling confident, and, you know, we got a lot of injuries, and it's just Dez just can't take a break with season-ending injuries for quarterbacks, man. It's just his 3rd year. You just can't get a solid quarterback to stay healthy. It's just so bad. All we got to do is just win one of these last 2 games, and we can represent the Western Conference Championship game, but it's not going to be easy. And, you know, I think I'm going to stay off the internet for a while because I'm just going to get depressed. No matter what, we'll always be ranked too high. God bless Group of 5. God bless Group of 5 guys. Go Cajuns.
Still got everything in front of you, Terry.
You know what the funniest thing about that is? When we posted the poll, there was back-to-back comments. Terry said too high, and then right below it was another Cajun fan that was like, are y'all high? A 2-point loss, and you moved us. We moved you from 5 to 8, guys. Like, jeez.
Yeah.
It's just funny stuff, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hang in there, Terry.
You'll be fine. Hopefully we get to see you in a couple weeks, Terry. We don't know yet.
We'll see. See how it shakes out. Let's check in with Charlotte.
Hey, Group of 5 guys. It's Tom here. I was a Charlotte fan that called about a month ago, maybe. I thought I nailed the voicemail, but unfortunately I forgot my name. Almost there. This is my first time calling post game, so I have too much time to prepare what I was going to say. I mean, I thought we got
Tom, buddy, we're gonna need clear reception on that one, bud.
Jeff, are you vetting these calls?
That one came in.
I'm kidding.
That one came in.
No, you're fine.
I didn't check that one. Let's go. Let's move on to Zach Branner.
Is this the last one?
This is the last one.
Zach.
Well, how about them Trojans, baby? Yes, sir. That is back-to-back wins. That's more like it. Man, and again, it goes back to the Arkansas State game. It goes all the way back to the Arkansas State game where the team fought. And we turned the corner there. We turned the corner, against Coastal Carolina. And damn, this was a big win. This was a very, very big win for Coach Parkin's staff and these guys. And proud of them. Proud of the fight. And again, the week over week over week over week improvement that I have, me, myself, and many others who truly believe in Troy University, alumnus, fans, whatever, who truly believe and, trust in the process. And damn, it's like we know what the hell we're talking about. Was it going to be pretty? We're the third, fourth youngest team in college football. And mind you, right, everybody, including the group of 5 guys, love y'all. Y'all were really high on Georgia Southern. And you can't blame, nobody can blame y'all. Georgia Southern was looking pretty good. They are still a good football team. But can't count out the Trojans. Yeah, we may not go to a bowl game, we may not win the conference championship, but look at the improvement we have. You can count us out if you want to. Yeah, cool. But we're going to upset some people this year. Y'all got some dreams. We're going to crush them. Some of these teams are going to beat us to go to the conference championship. And guess what? We're going to push it. So, damn proud of this team. Damn proud of this staff. We're going to end the season on a high note. Growth is being made. And look out. We're the first team, mind you, we're the first team in the Sun Belt Conference to have 100 conference wins. So again, do not ever count the Troy Trojans out. Yeah, that record may not speak it, but our overall record in the history of the Sun Belt does speak it. Thank you. Have a good night. And forever and always, one Troy.
Appreciate it, Zach. Good to hear from you.
I like his opening there. Well. That's good stuff.
That's the last call, Sprouse.
All right, Jeff. Well, I'm going to do some game planning and try to figure out something for Wednesday here. Now I feel like
people want it.
I'll have to put. You know what I'll do is I'll prepare a statement. I'll post it tonight and make sure everybody knows that this is all about me. And anyway, sorry we went a little long today. Tried to cover a little bit extra since we thought we weren't doing anything Wednesday, but now we might. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Jeff will figure something out for sure. But can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us on this fine Monday morning. Make sure if you're in the chat, go hit the like button. Make sure you hit the follow button on all the social media platforms. Share it with your family and friends. Subscribe to the channel, or you can go to group-of-5guys.com and get you some Group of 5 Guys swag. Hope you have a great Monday and hope you have a great week. We're out of here.